Back time now for early CFP betting lines presented by FanDuel. Play your game. Here is a look at those lines. You got Alabama at Oklahoma, Miami taking on Texas A&M, Tulane and Ole Miss. Pretty hefty spread there, but not bigger than James Madison at Oregon. Oregon laying 21.5. Here we are with the early betting lines presented by FanDuel. Play your game. You know who's always ready to play their game? It's Tom Casale and Mike McClure. Welcome back to the two of you. Let's go ahead and break down these early lines. You got Alabama and Oklahoma giving us the only rematch on the CFP board, with Bama favored on the road and the lowest total in playoff history. Both defenses are top 12. Both teams live in the under here, and the winner gets Indiana in the Rose Bowl. Mike, what's your best bet here?
I like Alabama here, Katie. I make them up over a field goal favorite, actually, about 3.5. I know it's a big number, certainly differing from the market here, but I really like this spot for them. You know, both of these teams with different groups of people were questioned as to whether or not they should even be there. And I know that Oklahoma, like on paper with the wins and losses, yes, they should be there. I don't think Oklahoma's good enough offensively here. I think they're just simply going to struggle to win any playoff game that requires them to score more than 20 points. And I think it will take more than 20 against this Alabama squad. The biggest thing for Alabama is the fact that they got in, and then now you get a little bit of a break. You get all that time to prepare for this one game. You get time for everyone to get a little healthy. I just think that it's too much of an ask for Oklahoma offensively in this game. So give me Bama here. Like it on the money line. Like it -1.5.
All right, so you're going to have the Tide roll in this one, taking them straight up on the money line. Spread is quite thin here, though, 1.5. Tom, do you think they can cover that number?
Yeah, well, Mike and I should have flipped a coin to see who went first, because I can just basically say ditto. He said everything I was going to say. I love Alabama here. I don't think Alabama's been the same since that 4-week run where they played four top 15 teams and beat them. It's never been done before. 2 of those were on the road, Georgia, Missouri. Since then, they've been like running on fumes. They've kind of beat up at the end of the year, and I agree with Mike. I think the break is really going to help Alabama. And if you look at that first meeting, Alabama had 3 turnovers. Oklahoma had none. Oklahoma won by 2 points. They were held to 212 yards and 4.2 yards per play. I think the Alabama defense dominates this game, and they win rather easily.
All right, and I made a mistake. It's not the only rematch. There's plenty of rematches here, but this is certainly the most anticipated one, I would say, on the slate. Miami catching 3.5 with Texas A&M, and a trip to the Cotton Bowl on the line here. The Canes 4-0 against the spread against ranked teams. Aggies struggling to cover at home. There's styles, there's pressure, and playoff nerves all around in this one. Tom, how are you going to bet the U versus A&M? And remember, the Tito is producing this show.
Yeah, I'm going to go under the Miami team total, 23.5. I just think this is by far and away the best defense Miami has seen. Remember, when they faced Notre Dame in week 1, Notre Dame's defense, it wasn't what it was at the end of the season. It was struggling a little bit. So I just think the way A&M sends pressure, those blitzes on 3rd down, it's really going to bother Carson Beck. So I think they're going to struggle to get to 24 points here.
All right, well, Tito will pretend like he didn't hear any of that. When you look at this matchup, Mike, what has your attention?
Yeah, I would say continue to keep the earmuffs on. It'll be Texas A&M here for me, and I love the look that Tom's got. That was very close to what I sent. Ultimately, still going to go the 3.5 with Texas A&M. The problem that I have here for Miami, and look, I generally want to back the team that everyone thinks maybe shouldn't be in the playoff. That's generally when I think there could be some value on them. This, to me, is just not the spot. As Tom mentioned, absolutely the best defense this team will have faced, but it's the environment. It's the beauty of the college football playoff in the opening round. It's talking about games on campus. There is no environment in this entire playoff right now that's going to be more difficult to walk into than the one at Kyle Field at Texas A&M in this particular spot. They have the home of the 12th man for a reason. It is a very difficult place to play. It's absolutely going to matter on 3rd down, and if Miami's not sitting 3rd and 2 every time, it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. It's essentially game over, in my opinion. Give me Texas A&M -3.5.
I'll say it's a feat just for Miami to have made the college football playoff there, and so I know that Miami Hurricane fans are really excited about that. And hey, you never know, any given Saturday, anything can happen, but both of these guys are saying not so fast to the U. All right, now to the other rematch. Ole Miss is laying 17.5, I think the spread is right now, after absolutely hammering Tulane earlier this year with that offense rolling under with a ticket to the Sugar Bowl on the line here. Tulane's been scrappy, but they've struggled as big dogs here. How are you going to attack this one, Mike? Is it enough points to take the dog, or are you just laying them all with Ole Miss?
I'm laying them with Ole Miss, but I'm going to isolate it to the first half at -8.5. I think this is double digits at halftime. I think it's a 10-plus point margin for Ole Miss early. And while Tulane, they have been scrappy, this is still a giant step up in competition. And it's not just the same Ole Miss teams from years past. Typically, when it's a jump in competition, it's, Ole Miss is going to go out there and score, but there's a decent chance that you're going to be able to move the football and potentially score back. That's not the case with this version of Ole Miss. They're a legitimate defensive team now, and the fact that they have the defensive-minded coach, like, yes, there's the distractions, Lane Kiffin leaving. I think it's motivation that can be used when you have a clear, large talent gap, and that's still what they have here. That is not what they'll have later on in the playoff, but while they do have it in a home game, I would lay it with a very hot start, laying the 8.5 in the first half.
Okay, well, the winner of this, which is most likely Ole Miss, will play number 3 Georgia in the Sugar Bowl on January 1st. Tom, do you see it similarly to Mike here?
I do. I went under 56.5 because I don't think Tulane's going to score much. They scored 10 in the first meeting against Ole Miss. I'm not going to get tricky with either of these big spreads and try to take the dog here. I think they're both going to be blowouts. One of the things about the college football playoff is you're done impressing the committee. So if you remember last year when Penn State got the lead and things were in hand, they kind of just wanted to get the game over. You don't want to get guys injured. So I think I see kind of like a 38-10, 38-13 kind of game here for Ole Miss. I'll go under 56.5.
Let me ask you guys something before we get into this last game here, and I'll start with you, Tom. Thoughts on Notre Dame opting out of a bowl game this year?
Yeah, the way the system is, I just don't, it doesn't bother me. Years ago it might have bothered me, but the system kind of creates that. And listen, leave it up to the kids. If the kids didn't want to play in the bowl game, then I'm fine with it. If the coaches or the administration's making the decision, then I would have a problem with it.
So, do we know for sure if it's the kids? Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm personally okay with it. We've seen it, and it's going to be a trend that continues. We've seen it in the Big 12 with 2 teams doing it already. The issue here is, Katie, it's either the program makes the decision, whether it's the kids, the administration, some combination there. Like, if the team still wants to compete, you're going to see 30-40% of the individual players opt out individually. That's essentially where we're at now. So for me, I don't really have a problem with it at this point, particularly when you're essentially asking everyone to stick around for an additional month, through the holiday season to prepare for a game that is essentially meaningless. The solution I would offer up, treat it like college basketball. We get neutral site games early in the season that are fun. Just call them bowls or have the corporate sponsor make it fun. Give us good elite matchups week 1 or week 2 across the board. Call them bowl games and move on.
I like that idea. That sounds actually amazing, especially if you've got kids that are going to hopefully go to the NFL to play in a meaningless game. Some of them sit out those anyway. So I like that. I think that's a really good idea. All right, one more game to talk about. Oregon, massive 21.5-point favorite. The biggest spread in CFP history against a James Madison team riding an 11-game win streak and punching above its weight all year. But the Ducks just dominate at home. JMU does keep covering when the numbers are big. Tom, can they cover this number, though? 21.5.
I don't think so. I think Oregon's going to be able to do whatever they want running the football. That's when you look at Oregon, is when they're running the ball, that's when they score. It's not so much throwing the ball down the field. It's getting that rushing attack going, and then Dante Moore throws off of that. So, listen, maybe JMU keeps it close for a while, but I just can't take the 21.5 here with them. I'll take Oregon to cover the big number.
All right, Oregon to cover this big number, 21.5, biggest number ever in the CFP. Not a lot of faith, Mike, that Tom has for JMU. Their team total 13.5. Can they get 2 touchdowns here?
I don't think so. I went under on the team total at even money, under 13.5. I think a good result for JMU in this game is putting up 10 points. Or again, if they get to 2 field goals with 13, I think that this is a spot where Oregon just simply dominates. And while, like Tom said, you're no longer impressing anyone. So they will call the dogs off early in this one if it's in hand. There's no doubt about that. However, I just think that this team is underrated defensively still. We think about this team being some elite offensive powerhouse that they've been for a long time, kind of like Ole Miss, but they're